a world-building project with a magic system. I admit I am rather the science fiction nerd. Ian M. Banks and Alistair Reynolds are among my favorite authors, but I must admit that I am also a sucker for a well-thought-out magic system. I usually shy away from creating a magical world because I often see storytellers using magic as a narrative tool to let their characters basically get away with anything. But I thought for once I would give it a go and put my own spin on how magic works. There is going to be a lot to get through, so I'm going to break this down into 3 main sections. The first shall cover what exactly magic is and how it functions. The second section will cover historical events of importance, and the last section will be about characters of significance. It is all rather a large quagmire of interconnecting complexity, so if you run into something you don't understand at first, please press on, and your questions will most likely be answered in time. So, without further ado, I proudly present to you my world, or, in fact, worlds. Section 1. The Mechanics of Magic. Episode 1. The Fundamentals. So, you might ask me, what is magic? And I would reply, magic has many names in many cultures. The ancients before us named it energy, and the kids these days call it magic. The desert people of Karazia refer to it as Ji, while the Sarkosi shaman call it Keep Fu. It is termed information by some, and simply power by others. It has many names, and it has many pathways. There are a myriad of doorways that can be opened unto magic, for it is all around us, and it is within each of us. But perhaps that does not answer your question. You may ask again, what is magic? And I would answer in turn, magic is literally everything. Magic is the earth and the sky, the air and the water, the stars and the spaces between. Magic is love and hate, time and space. It is you, and it is me, it is life, and it is death. Break any substance down far enough to its basic building blocks, and you will find only magic. It is the base stuff of our reality. It is the canvas, the paint, and the picture. All that we perceive and all that we do not. It always makes me pause to think that the fabric of reality is a tapestry woven from a single thread. Unsatisfied, you may demand that I throw away my silly metaphors and answer you properly. What, exactly, is magic? Okay then, you asked for it, but don't say I didn't warn you. Magic is an ethereal matrix that pervades throughout what we call reality. Indeed, it is the very scaffolding that reality is built upon. To begin, this matrix is without form or function, existing in a state of pure, limitless potential. It is commonly suggested that magic can only exist in this state when no outside forces are acting upon it. As soon as magic experiences an interaction, however, it fractures, like light through a prism, in an act that we refer to as collapse. The exact form of this collapse depends on the forces enacting upon the magic. The matrix breaks down into lesser energy fields that we call arcs. Each of these arcs carries fundamental qualities, behaviors if you will. The potential stored within the magic matrix is released in a storm of creation, giving birth to the arcs. These arcs form the framework that reality's rules are written upon. In this world, there are 7 arcs. The ancients referred to them as fields, each one governing a fundamental aspect of reality. All 7 of these arcs pervade throughout this reality. They are superimposed atop each other, occupying the same space like 7 roiling seas of energy. Each arc resonates at its own unique frequency and volume, humming in an infinite static of fluctuations across reality. Although we cannot see these arcs of energy, they exist, all around us, layered upon each other. The arcs of magic famously do not get along with one another, and, left to their own devices, the arcs would exist as ghosts, unaware of their counterparts and never interacting. But one of the arcs, called Arikos, acts as a carrier force, allowing the other arcs to interact with one another. Each arc vibrates and fluctuates in its own way across all reality. Through the arc of Arikos, these fluctuations will interact with one another, giving rise to emergent phenomena and birthing further rules of reality. These new rules will govern further interactions which will produce yet more values and emergent properties and so on. Everything we see and hear, even we ourselves, are simply the outcome of layers of interacting magic, evolved over all of time. The reality that we experience is not within any of the arcs, but in the fractal walls and swirls created somewhere in between these complex interactions. I hope that answers your question. But hold on to your hat, because that is the very tip of the iceberg. Although each arc is constantly fluctuating at any given point, taken as a whole, each arc hums at a certain volume. Remember that each arc was once part of a greater whole, when they each existed as potential or raw magic. When the raw magic collapsed and split into the arcs, it did not distribute its potential equally among its children. Imagine a river that is forced to flow down a few different paths. The overall flow of the river is split between each smaller path and its power distributed between them. The same is true of the arcs. Each arc has an intrinsic strength value, and when all these values are combined, they equal the overall strength of their starting potential. In this realm, the strengths of the arcs are balanced, such as to allow all this reality to be possible. But what if that were not the case? What if the arcs were balanced differently, and their potential had been distributed in another way? Change the mix, redistribute the values, and reality might look very different. Or everything we know might not be able to exist at all. It seems absurdly lucky, in fact, that the arcs were balanced in such a way as to produce all the dizzying complexity of this world about us. Well, don't fret, my friend. Although each of us is unique, we are in no way special at all. Our world. This realm, what the ancients quaintly termed a universe, is but one of many. The raw magic collapsed into 7 arcs, each arc carrying a percentage of the starting potential, and this process eventually formed the reality we see. But there are other realms, other worlds where the potential was split a different way. There are infinite variations of this, endless combinations, no two realms alike. Each realm is superimposed atop each other, in a similar way to the arcs they each contain. Every realm carries the same 7 arcs, but the potential is distributed differently in each expression of reality. We refer to this collection of realms as a layer, what the ancients termed a multiverse. It is believed that there are other layers beyond our own, where it is hypothesized that the raw magic exists at different densities, and has collapsed in different ways, into alien arcs. The rules of reality could be completely different in these places, producing realms that we could not even imagine. Each great layer contains an infinite number of realms, but only a single set of arcs. Each realm in a layer has the same arcs, but a unique distribution of potential between these arcs. This can give rise to very different expressions of reality across each layer. It just so happens that we find ourselves in this realm, and the balance is such that we can ponder such things about ourselves. Now we have the fundamentals over and done with. I hope that has all piqued your interest in this project. As you can see, even in my world of magic, I have not strayed too far from the physics I love so much. Indeed, I seek to amalgamate the two together. Why not, right? In our next episode, we shall take a look at the 7 arcs of magic, and what their qualities are. I hope you will join me for the ride. For now, thanks for listening, and stay creative.